Hello, a very beautiful Monday to you, sports fans. Many thanks for joining us for another moment on TV, talking sports on live TV on a Monday, the 26th day of June 2023. It's the first day of the week, and let's talk about our recap what went down at the weekend. On the show this morning, Olympic Day run celebration in Anambra as queen of the track chief Mary Onyale was in Anambra State for the celebration led with the Anambra State Sports Development Commission. Also on the show, we'll talk about Anambra School Sports Festival, which was concluded at the weekend with Washington Memorial Grammar School and Uncle Raf, the Great Academy, of course, getting the football gold. We'll also be talking about handball, tennis, and football transfer news on the sports show. It is Sports Today on ABS TV. I'm Ike Nwokedi. We'll begin the show with our first story. Our first story is on the concluded Anambra School Sports Festival. You're seeing the pictures on your screen. The Anambra School Sports Festival on Saturday, 24th June 2023 ended on a high note as Washington Memorial Grammar School Onitsha and Uncle Rafa, the Great Academy, claimed the gold in the football event. Washington Memorial Grammar School saw off their opponents from Bubendorf Memorial Grammar School Adazin Nuku by 4-2 on penalty shootouts after a barren regulation time to claim the under-17 male football gold. Uncle Rafa, the Great Academy from Isuaniocha, had earlier saw off their opponent in a primary school from Aguleri by 3-1 in the encounter. In the track and field event, Lucy Wankwo of Rosa Mystica High School Agolo ran the best timer to win the gold in the finals of the 100 meters under 17 girls, while Chigozie Wankwo, also from Rosa Mystica High School Agolo, settled for silver as the bronze medal went to Chineche Remokafo, who represented Holy Queens Secondary School Agolo Zibo. In the male category of the 100 meters finals, Edward Chibike from Dominican Sisters College Abatete took gold ahead of Akachukwu Onyejekwe of Holy Queens Secondary School Agolo Zibo and Chibuzo Akanisi of St. Michael's Comprehensive College Nimo, who settled for silver and bronze medals respectively. In his remarks at the executive Governor of Anambra State, His Excellency Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo described the school sports festival as the beginning of a new era for sports development in the state. Governor Soludo, who was represented by his deputy Dr. Onyekachi Ibezim, emphasized the essence of sports as a tool for conviviality, career development, and engaging the Anambra youth meaningfully. He also reassured that the present administration will continue to support programs that enhances youth development. On his part, Patrick Estate Onyedum, Chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, ASSDC, expressed his delight that the month-long festival, which kick-started with 210 primary and secondary schools with a total of 21,000 athletes, concluded on a very bright and positive note as the student athletes demonstrated their sporting prowess. Onyedum eulogized Governor Soludo for his approval towards holding of the festival after a 10-year hiatus. The sports boss informed that the exceptional talent discovered from the school sports festival will represent the state at the upcoming National Youth Games NYG later in the year, and in furtherance, the National Sports Festival NSF are scheduled to be hosted rather by Ogun State, and that's coming up in 2024. Vision High School Nnewi and Central School Nimo Central School Nimo were emerged as overall best secondary and primary schools, and each got a whopping sum of 1.5 million naira. Ide Secondary School Enuguku and Iyora Primary School Iyora in Anambra East LGA got 1 million naira each for emerging the first runners up for the secondary and primary schools respectively. Rosa Mystica High School Agolo, Iringu Primary School Nanka both settled for a consolation prize of 500,000 naira each for emerging third overall in both the secondary and primary schools category. And most valuable players in the 10 sporting events of athletics, basketball, chess, football, Scrabble, swimming, tennis, taekwondo, volleyball, cricket all got a sum of 20,000 naira each. There was also a raffle draw where 3 students are smiled home with each are winning a brand new bicycle. And those are the pictures you're seeing on your screen right now. It's all about the finals of the Anambra School Sports Festival, and the number 2 citizen of the state, Mr. Deputy Governor, was there to represent the number 1 citizen, His Excellency Professor Charles Soludo. And what a story was for school sports in Anambra State, which started on 17th of May with 21,000 athletes, 610 schools from the community to, I went from the community to the local government stage and to the zonal elimination and the finals, which started on Wednesday 21st and climaxed on Saturday the 24th at the Oka City Stadium with an event out there. And what a story has been for this athlete, and as you're seeing the pictures on your screen, and of course the schools have performed exceptionally well, and the athletes also. These are pictures of some of the student athletes getting the bicycles based on the raffle draw done out there, and they were being presented by the number 2 citizen of the state. And that was at the climax of the event at Vision High School. They were celebrating their heroics, and they got 1.5 million naira for their exploits in this year's edition. That's the chairman, Sports Development Commission, Onyedum, during his remarks on the occasion of the School Sports Festival, all showing on your screen right now. We say congratulations to the student athletes at the schools that won it, and also the Anambra State Sports Development Commission for this initiative, and to the chairman for the brainchild, This is quite innovative, and this will definitely take sports in Anambra State to the next level. We've started the right way, and this needs to be sustained. And also kudos to the number 1 citizen of the state for giving the nod for School Sports Festival to hold, and it is a product of the Anambra State Sports Development Commission. Well, moving away from that, on the same day before the School Sports Festival final, there was this Olympic Day celebration. Yes, a day set aside to bring people together. Let's tell you that a veteran Olympian, Mary Onyale, on Saturday morning led members of the sporting family to celebrate the 2023 Olympic Day run in Oka, Anambra State. The rush show we took off at the popular Aroma Junction terminated at the Alexe Kweme Square. Patrick Estate Onyedum, chairman of Anambra State Sports Development Commission, was also part of the high-profile participants in the run, as well as the members of our staff, including the director of sports there, Faith Okwonna, and the director of technicals, Emeka Obidimma, speaking after the road walk and some aerobic displays on Nyali, and stated that the day was a special one for Olympians, and the founder of the Olympics, the veteran sprinter, said that the message was that the Olympic spirit was genuine, peaceful, and people do not need to win a medal to be an Olympian. She said that the Olympic Day run, which coincides with the closing ceremony of the Anambra School Sports Festival, was an indication that the state was in tune with the rest of the world, while expressing hope that new Olympians will be born in the state. According to her, all of us are Olympians, whether you participated or not. It is also a day to tell the world to work on their body for the sake of their health, because health is wealth, she stated. Chief Mary Onyale, MFR, said the return of Anambra School Sports Festival shows we are getting it right again, and that the festival is ending on the day we are having the Olympic Day run means Anambra is in tune with the rest of the world. Anambra has always been ahead in sports, and we have so many world champions coming from here, and I hope more Olympians that will be born in Anambra. Myself, Uchenna Emedolu, and others have laid the foundation, and I plead that the governor continues to support the sector. Mary Onyale stated. On his impact, Onyedum said that Anambra was happy to join the rest of the world to celebrate Olympic movement. Onyedum, who is a member of a Nigeria Olympic Committee for Sports and Environment Commission, said that vision of the Governor Chukwuma Soludo administration was to give every talented child the opportunity to rise to the world stage by providing the necessary environment. He said that the School Sports Festival, which would which was expected to round off for that Saturday after 5 weeks of intense competition, was one of such platforms, adding that a good number of the students has shown a greater promise. In a message, International Olympic Committee said that they paired the Kobatina found that the Olympic out of the desire to make the world a better place. And the message, which was delivered by Patrick Ibe, member of the NOC Sports for All Commission, said it kept our body and mind healthy and strong. According to him, when we do sports, it inspires us to always give it our best, makes us dream and spreads joy and brings us together, according to Patrick Ibe. Well, let's now watch some of the clips we gathered on that day of the Olympic Day celebration, which commenced at the Aroma Junction and terminated at the Ekwueme Square. Enjoy it.
Significance of Olympic celebration is to remember the togetherness of the world from the day the Olympics started up to now. So we are trying to show the world that the peace in which the Olympic brought to the world is still in existence.
The Olympic Day celebration is a worldwide event. All the Olympians and Olympic committees, federations and associations all over the world are celebrating this day because it's a special day for us. Both the active and retired athletes, we all come around to remember the day we reached the epic of our sports endeavor. For the administrators, they're also celebrating keeping the nation, their nation, and the world at peace. Remembering that today, everybody in the world comes together to say it doesn't matter what tribe, what religion, what creed you are in the Olympics in spirit. So the world is saying thank you, and we are saying thank you for giving us.
That's the last voice that you heard there, and the clips that you saw there and the pictures there was that of our Chief Mary Onyali, MFR, five-time Olympian, talking about the significance of the Olympic Day celebration. And before her, you heard from the chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Patrick Estate Onyedum, also talking about the significance of the day as the state gets set for the finals of the Anambra School Sports Festival. That was about the Olympic Day celebration on Saturday. It commenced as early as 7 a.m. And of course, I concluded as around 7:30. And what a story it was for the Olympic Day celebration out there. And it was a momentous occasion for all the sports aficionados in the state. We cannot, we'll cherish this moment and we'll ask for this and to come once more. That should be next year. Hopefully, God will keep us alive to witness another Olympic Day celebration. Moving away from that, let's talk about handball. Handball on the sports show ahead of the first phase of the men's and women's handball Premier League in Benin City. Andover has been named as the new sponsors. This was revealed during a press conference in Lagos, as the competition will now be known as Andover Premier Handball League, APHPL, and the 3-year sponsorship deal worth 9.25 million. The Andover Premier Handball League will hand winners in the men's and women's categories 2.5 million naira each, which is an improvement from the previous editions. Also, participating teams will receive branded merchandise such as bags, water bottles, and official jerseys. And speaking at the event, President of the Handball Federation of Nigeria, Samuel Ocheho, said, "I am happy with the sponsorship deal, and it would help us to continue in our drive to improve handball in Nigeria. We have had a push up in the ranking of Nigeria handball. Before we came on board, we were outside at the top 100, but now we are inside at the first 50 countries in the world. Andover Handball Premier League will start on the 1st of July 2023 at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium Sports Hall and the Etete Complex in Benin City, Edo State. We hear that's handball returning, and I'm quite delighted that that sports is taking shape once again in the country. And in football, let's talk about Nigeria players outside the shores of the country. Let's tell you that Nigerian international Ola Aina has confirmed that he is leaving Italian Serie A side at Torino SC. The defender has decided to leave the Maroons with his contract with the Turin-based club set to expire at the end of this month. Aina, who has been linked with his English Premier League club Fulham, Everton, West Ham United, and AFC Bournemouth, took to his official Instagram account to announce his departure. Ola Aina, who was nurtured in the Chelsea Academy in London, England, played 63 Serie A matches and scored once in the process during his time with Torino. The 26-year-old joined the Maroons from Chelsea, and that was in 2018. To the African Foreign Legion, Chelsea goalkeeper Edouard Mendy is close to signing for Saudi Pro League side Al Ahly. According to reports making the rounds, talks are ongoing, but Mendy is expected to join the big name players and moving to the country we hear. And the Senegal international, 31 years of age, joined Chelsea in 2020 from Rennes, providing competition from Kepa Arrizabalaga. He became a first choice, winning the 2020-2021 Champions League, and was named UEFA's goalkeeper of the season and best FIFA men's keeper for 2021. A move to Al Ahly will see Mendy join the growing ranks of elite players persuaded to join the Saudi Arabian club. Chelsea teammate N'Golo Kante recently agreed to sign for league champions Al Ittihad and will be joined there by Ballon d'Or winner Karim Benzema. Meanwhile, Blues centre-back Kalidou Koulibaly and winger Hakim Ziyech are also reportedly the subject of interest from teams in the Saudi Arabia Pro League. Saudi Arabia looks to be a new dawn for some footballers. Now they are going there for the Arab money. Not only the Arab money, Saudi Arabia want to raise the league out there, and very soon, maybe Saudi Arabian league will now be the talk of at the moment in the global stage for club football. We'll be watching out for that, and let's see that happens. But almost all the players seems to be going to Saudi Arabia. What is there in Saudi Arabia? Your guess is as good as mine. Let's move on the show. Let's talk about this Ghana goalkeeper by name Jojo Wollacott. Let's tell you that Hibernia, the Scottish side, have signed goalkeeper Jojo Wollacott on a 3-year deal after paying Charlton Athletic an undisclosed fee. The 26-year-old is a Ghana international and has 11 caps. And Wollacott, who missed last year's World Cup due to a finger injury sustained in the warm-up for the last outing before the tournament, will provide competition for captain David Marshall after multiple low spells during his 7 years at Bristol City. He joined Swindon Town for the 2021-2022 season before making the switch to League One with the Addicts last summer, where he played 20 games. On Thursday, Hibs announced the signing of the left back Jordan Obita, while veteran forward Adam Lefondre has also been recruited. Moving away from that, let's talk about tennis on the show. In tennis, Carlos Alcaraz won his first title on grass and regained the world #1 ranking with an impressive victory over Alex Demure in the Queens finals. Alcaraz's 6-4, 6-4 triumph means he moves above Novak Djokovic in the rankings and will be the top men's seed at Wimbledon, which starts on the 3rd of July. Alcaraz will now hope to emulate his compatriot Rafael Nadal, who triumphed at Queens in 2008 before going on to win Wimbledon for the first time a few weeks later. There were questions about Alcaraz's ability on grass at the start of the week, but he answered those in emphatic style, becoming a crowd favorite with his attacking play, humble attitude, and boyish smile. He will now be considered the main threat to Djokovic's defense of his Wimbledon title we hear. And still talking tennis, Yelena Ostapenko. Yelena Ostapenko is in the news. Yelena Ostapenko defeated Czech player Barbora Krikova at the Birmingham Classic to take a second grass court title of her career in a battle between the top seeds. The second seed, Ostapenko, held her nerve to win 7-6, 6-4 in their battle. Elsewhere, two-time Wimbledon champion Petra Kvitova defeated Donna Vekic 6-2, 7-6 to win the German Open. We hear, and that's for the WTA, the 33-year-old Czech who had also beaten Croatian Vekic en route to the title in Miami. This year took a dominant first set win before finding herself a breakdown in the second of the game. She battled back from 5-3 down to 6-5 as Vekic, who has shot up at the rankings from 69 to 23rd this season, following an Australian Open quarterfinal spot and a title in Monterrey. Forced a tie break, but a powerful Kvitova forehand that sealed the match at the first time of asking. Ostapenko, 26 years of age, had needed a 3-setter to win all her matches at the tournament until her straight-setter win over 2021 French Open champion Krejcikova in their match. Sports Today on ABS TV is what you're watching. We'll take a very short break. When we come back on the show, we'll go to London and talk about Arsenal Football Club, and then we'll equally tell you about Inter Milan in the Italian Serie A. Join us shortly. The show Sports Today on ABS TV, and a brand new week is the first one for the week, and Monday it is, and it is the last Monday in the month of June 2023. And before this time, we told you about the Anambra School Sports Festival, which came to a climax at the weekend at the Awka City Stadium. We told you how Washington Memorial Grammar School got the better of Bubendorf Memorial Grammar School in the finals of the under-17 for boys, and it ended penalties and they won 4-2. And we equally told you about how Onkoraf, the great academy in Isua Nyocha, defeated their opponents from Eri Primary School in the finals of the under-13 boys for the football event. We told you about Nwankwo, who won at the 100 meters for the women, and also how it went down. Yes, there was 5 finals on that day. We had at the 100 meters. We had the 100 meters finals for under-17 girls. We equally had the 100 meters finals for under-17 boys. We had the 4x100 meters, 4x100 meters mixed relay in that one. Then we had the 4x100 meters for under-17 boys for the local government, and equally the 4x100 meters finals relay for the boys at the under-17 level. We equally told you about the Olympic Day celebration, how Chief Mary Onyale, the queen of the track, MFR, 5-time Olympian, and the chairman, Anambra State Sports Development Commission, Honorable Patrick Estate Onyedum, led the Olympic Day movement, and that was on Saturday. It started at the Okueme Square and ended, and that was part of the event for the Anambra School Sports celebration. Also, we equally told you about Ola Aina's proposed move, and we equally told you about handball, how handball is shaping in the country and trying to move to the next level, move in the ranking. They are now in the top 50. Nigeria is now in the top 50 in the globe, according to reports from the president of the Handball Federation of Nigeria. And also, we gave you, serve you some tennis news. Now, let's talk about football. Arsenal boss Mikel Arteta accepts his side must strengthen in the transfer market if they are to become Premier League champions next season. Arteta's side that we are beating to the title, to the 2022-2023 title by Manchester, that's Manchester City, and the Gunners have been linked with a move for West Ham United midfielder Declan Rice, and are also closing in on forward Havertz from Chelsea. Arsenal topped the table for much of the campaign, but their campaign fell away after they suffered injuries to key players like William Saliba, although the Gunners have finished second and secured the return to the Champions League. Arteta says it's still hot, and now it looks like Mikel Arteta wants to strengthen the squad now in preparation for next season to strengthen in almost all the departments. We hear Arsenal being linked with a move for Julian Timber of Ajax Amsterdam. We hear that deal is worth £30 million, and Julian Timber is one player that can play in the centre back position. He can also play in the right full back. So that's one player Arsenal have been going for, Julian Timber of Ajax, and we hear that the deal has the fees have been agreed between both parties for the signature of Julian Timber, who plays for Ajax Amsterdam. Like I told you, he can play in central defense and the right full back position. So he will bring a form of competition for the likes of Ben White and also the likes of Takehiro Tomiyasu, also the two players that play in the right fullback position, and in central defense, of course, he will definitely compete with the likes of William Saliba, the likes of Gabriel, and the likes of Kivio, and again the likes of Rob Holding. These are players that Julian Timber will come in to compete with now if he eventually signs for Arsenal. But we'll hear that a fee has been agreed. What about £30 million to get him from Ajax Amsterdam? That's for Mikel Arteta to shore up at the defensive line. In attack out there, we hear that Kyle Havertz is set to move to Arsenal. We hear that the fee is £65 million. That's the fee. The reports coming through that is £65 million for the signatures of Kyle Havertz, and he will come in to bring in lots of experience for Arsenal. And also, Arsenal, we hear, are set to submit a third bid worth £100 million for Declan Rice. For West Ham United and midfielder. And we'll hear Manchester City equally had a discussion with management of West Ham United, but no bid was submitted. But we'll hear the first bid submitted by Arsenal, which was worth about £75 million, was rejected. The second one, what about improved £85 million that was submitted. Now, Arsenal is submitting another one worth £90 million plus £10 million add-ons for that one. So it is expected that this will go through, and in no distant time, Declan Rice can be an Arsenal player. So Mikel Arteta wants to strengthen the position by adding about 3 to 4 players. Julian Timber from Ajax Amsterdam, who will come in defense. Declan Rice in the middle of the park for Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal can now shore up their defense in case there is an injury to the likes of Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka. That's if Granit Xhaka doesn't go to Bayer Leverkusen, according to report that he's been linked with a move to that club, Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. And also Sambi Lokonga is also returning, we hear. And then up front out there, Havertz are coming through. So lastly, Inter Milan have announced that the signing of Barcelona captain Sergio Busquets are reuniting him with former teammate Lionel Messi. Busquets, 34 years of age, announced in May he will be leaving at the La Liga champions after 18 years at the club. And the midfielder will link up with Argentina forward Messi, 35 years of age, who confirmed that this month that he was moving to Inter Miami from PSG. And Busquets and Messi spent 13 seasons together at the Blaugrana from 2008 to 2021. They were part of the successful team which won 3 Champions League, 8 La Liga titles, and 6 Copa del Rey. And the former Spanish captain Busquets played 722 matches in total for Barcelona, the third most appearances in the club history. And over his 15 years with the senior team, he scored 18 goals and provided 40 assists. And Busquets joined the club in 2005 as a youth player, progressing to Barcelona's B side before making his first team debut under Pep Guardiola in 2008 league game against Racing Santander. And he has joined Messi at another club. So that's it for that one. And that's about the size of the show this morning, Sports Today on ABS TV. Thank you so much for being part of the Monday edition. The show will make a return tomorrow, same time, and Sacramento will be here to continue on the sports show on this dial, ABS TV. My name is Ike Mwoked. Have a lovely Monday, but remember to keep sporting. Bye-bye now.